Morning guys, it's Blackie. Okay, this video is for a young man in Sweden who contacted me, and I will not shame myself by trying to butcher the pronunciation of this gentleman's name. I'm sure that it's very easy to pronounce, but when you start putting B's and J's and things together, it just doesn't work with the southern tongue. So please, with a great deal of respect, understand I'm not going to butcher your name. But the young man from Sweden, we shall say. And this young man had said that he's been following my channel and he'd saw some of my earlier videos and was talking about fire kits. And he wanted to know, right now in 2021, could I give him a complete loadout of my fire starting kits and what I carry and the source of where you go and get them at. And I said, okay, I'll be happy to do that. So, let us look at a fire kit, okay? To me, the word fire kit means it's multi-dimensional. What are the conditions? What are the tools I'm going to need for the job? Because I have played around with all the usual things of flint and steel and primitive fire, bow drills, hand drills, fire plows, burning lenses, and etc. And all of them have a purpose and a time. And some of them are really good and reliable, and some of them are a skill and a play thing. And so let's just say straight up front that I'm not talking primitive fire kit, okay? What I'm talking about, what I carry when I go to the field. Now, I may try to practice fire skill while I'm there by using punk wood or char wood or build a bow drill or whatever. But I will absolutely have other fire kit on me when I go. Fire is the #1 thing that allows me to have comfort in the woods. I have light, I have protection, I have the ability to cook my food, so fire is a big premium. So I go heavy on a fire kit, okay? So let's start with #1, me. Even in my daily life, I'm not a smoker, but what do I carry on me? Well, I carry 2 devices on me to make sure I'm going to be able to make fire. One is on my key ring, my EDC. I have a little hot spark that I bought from a Cub Scout. He was selling them to make money for his troop. And these are available through Boy Scouts America, and I'm sure you can get them in other places, but it was called a hot spark. It's even got the Boy Scout emblem on it. The other thing is in my pocket, my everyday carry. I carry a Victorinox Fieldmaster. Now this is the best pocket knife for a woodsman as far as I'm concerned, but we'll go there some other time. It has on board a saw, scissors and everything else, but this saw has a good 90-degree spine on the back of it. With that saw, I can cut small stuff. I can also shave small stuff, and the back of this is 90 degrees, so that when I use it onto the spark, I get the spark. So that's my fire tool. With that, I can generate the shavings I would need for this to ignite. So those two are my EDC on me to begin with, okay? And will be in every loadout because these are on me. Next, my I'm going to the field set will be my haversack, but what if it ain't, okay? Well, I carry a kit in my vehicle, and my vehicle kit is this. This is my vehicle kit. I carry a one of these lifeboat match sets, Utico, I believe is the name of it. You get them at Walmart. They have a little thing of tinder in the lid. These big old lifeboat matches that burn even underwater when you get them. And then you got the striker bar there, and there's an extra striker bar inside of it that I put in there to make sure I'm going to have a dry striker bar. Okay? And a watertight pouch. This is in my vehicle. Not in my bug out bag. This is the vehicle. Okay? There's also, this rides with the vehicle. Now I have pulled this out and used it alternating. I have taken this out and I have put it in a haversack before, and you've seen that. But for right now, in 2021, this is my vehicle kit. And what this is a leather pouch that I got from StitchGear.com. This is called the small Tinder Bag. Okay. And you can cinch it down extremely tight to keep it relatively waterproof. Now, let me set up on the table over here. I'll put the camera down and we'll take everything out of the kits one by one. Okay, here we go. Okay, the small leather bag by StitchGear.com, the small Tinder Bag. Inside of it, I have a Ted Cash Tinderbox. This is a leftover from my Rendezvous Living History days. I probably had this box 20 years. It has a friction fit lid that seals up fairly snug. Inside of it, I have shavings of cedar bark. I also have, underneath the cedar bark, I can lift this out, 2 birthday candles and 2 of my fire straws that I make. And what this is, and I've done a couple of videos on these, this is taking a drinking straw, taking a magnesium fire starter and a file and making a pile of shavings, taking Vaseline and mixing with those shavings, and then mixing that into a cotton ball and packing it into these straws. That makes a waterproof set like that I can cut in half, pick it, flare it out or whatever, and ignite it, and therefore have a fire straw that will generate a nice burning flame for several minutes. And with those little pieces of magnesium in it, you get flares of heat that pop up as they burn, which adds to it. So I can cut it off, make a candle out of it. I can use it to start wet wood. So 2 fire straws, 2 birthday candles, and some tinder. In the main bag, I carry 2 of the small micro Zippo lighters. Bic lighters, pardon me. And the bottom of the bag is now packed solid full of tinder. And this is tinder I collect and save up, and it's all kinds of very small material of bark shavings, down from thistles, etc. mixed together. I collect from multiple sources as I find them, and then I take those sources and I put them into a large bag where I can mix and match and make up my tinders that I'm going to be carrying like this. Just like that. And then put this in there. Squeeze it so it lays flat. Put the lighter on top. Just like that. Cinch it up good and tight. I have a toggle on here that I cinch it all the way down. That pulls that top really tight. Now I fold it over, wrap the lanyard around, good and tight, roll it underneath twice. Ta-da! That's my vehicle set. Now, my haversack, my primary that I'm going to be carrying, is next. And I have redundancies in this. Now when I flip it open to get to the top flap, I'm going to be able to reach in here, and I have a large Firesteel with a handle made of fat wood. So I can shave this handle. A gentleman gifted me this a few years ago, but it's become my carry in the haversack grab, and it's got a striker on it for generating a spark with a cord to put around my neck. Something nice and bright so that if I lay it down, I don't lose it. Remember, that's a hunk of fat wood and a black rod. If I laid it down in pine straw, it could disappear and I'd have to hunt it. I want to find it. Also hanging off the flap, I've got an Exotec Firesteel. Let me get this a little bit closer and show you. This is the Exotec. Now it has a compartment inside. I got it sealed up real good with one of those cigarette butt type tinder tabs in it. So no matter what, I have the ability of tinder and fire right there. That's going to ignite. And that ride's attached to my strap of my Blackbird and just tucked inside for a quick pull out ferrule rod right there. Yes, I've got this one in the top flap, but this one's the one that's kind of hanging on the outside to grab. Okay, now also in the flap up here I have two lighters. One is a standard Bic lighter that I've added some duct tape and a little lanyard to make it easy to carry. And that rides on a little lanyard that goes between an old Marbles match safe, just like that. That's just a quick grab in here for me to pull out. Now, I date my Bic lighters right here on the bottom, and you won't be able to see it. I've put a date on it. This one was put in here in August of 2020, so it's less than 6 months. The matches, every time I'm going to go on a big major trip, I check the matches, replace it, whatever. These are disposable as far as I'm concerned, as far as the lighter and the matches, not the match safe. But I carry this because if someone else didn't have one, I could hand them a lighter. If I have to sacrifice a lighter for whatever, that's the one that's going to get sacrificed, right? And so that's the one that's to use it up first, lighter, okay? I have the Exotec cover for the next one. Now this one usually rides down in the actual haversack, and it's got the lighter in it. Now I won't pull it out because this is a good tight one, but on the side of it I've written the date of it, and I know that this one is time to change out because I put this one in a little over a year ago. This one was 2019 I put it in, so it's time for this lighter to rotate. This lighter will come out, it will be treated with duct tape just like that one, and this one will become the disposable lighter. If there's any life left in it, it becomes disposable. This one will get rotated to some house duty at home and be retired. A brand new lighter will have a date written on it and it'll be put into here. This becomes the one for foul weather. Notice how it seals up. This is for in case I take a dunking, I know that one's going to be dry, right? This one also becomes the one that I'm going to pull out whenever I'm in a situation that I might lay something down and lose it. This I will see, okay? And that's the reason I chose orange. Remember? This I will see. So this rides up here for that. Usually down in the pack. Up here is this one, and this one rides down in the pack. Just like that. Put that back in here. Now, the main fire kit that you've seen before, right there. Now the lighter with this loop lanyard system I got will come around, tangle up, and it's going into the bottom of the main body of the haversack, down here at the bottom. Now let me take and lay out the contents of my fire kit. For many, many years, in all the various camping experiences that I had, I've carried many different types of material of fire kits. I've carried just Bic lighters, I've carried Zippo lighters, I've carried matches, I've carried whatever. All of them have some strengths and all of them have some weaknesses. And I believe in redundancy. And so when people start talking about, but Blackie, if you lost all, you've seen how many fire sets I've got this far hooked to me. I've got one definitely in my pocket and on a key carabiner hooked to me. Definite. Two, I've got other lighters and stuff in quick grab right there in my haversack. or on my vehicle or in the bug out bag in my vehicle. I over redundant fire kit because fire is the most important. Now let me lay this out. Okay, this is my StitchGear.com Tinder Bag. Now what it is, it's a very well made leather bag that's been waxed, and it's got ties on it to allow it to roll it up, very much like the old traditional bags of hundreds of years ago. Very long tab so you can wrap it up good and tight, and the flap rolls down blood tight, so it will even take a severe dunking. You can hold it under water a minute or two a lot of times and it won't get wet. Now when I open it up, notice how much of it is consumed in this rolling up. This means that if everything is wet around me and I need a dry place to process tinder, this bag does that job. I set it down, and when I start unrolling, I got all this real estate right here to lay stuff out on. So that whenever I take it and lay that flap out right here, here's where I would be sitting and processing and making that pile of shavings and etc. on this dry piece of waxed leather. So I could get it and get it going. I can even ignite it on top of this and then transfer it with my knife into something else. I have seen Jonathan Morris up at when we did my gathering, he used this flap to put his bow drill on because the ground was wet, and used the flap to catch the ember. Okay, on top is my Exotec Lighter. Now I've had this for 2 years or more now, and several people have asked me, have they held it up? Absolutely, it's held up. Now I overfilled mine, and like I said in the video, when you overfill it, when you unscrew it, there's an O-ring right here. This up here, I can see it's wet with fuel right now. You can smell it because it will evaporate because that wick can come up in here. So you do this, blow on it a second, and evaporate any fuel that's there, so that when I ignite it, it don't engulf this entire top in a flame and burn that. I've had it fueled in my pack for over a year, and have used it probably 20 or 30 times, but you see it's still got fuel in it. It's like a Zippo lighter that I can refill. And what do I need it for? To light a fire. I already get the fire set up and I ignite it. I should have no more than 5 seconds of trigger time on any lighter. If I haven't done that, I haven't done my prep work. So 5 seconds on the lighter should be all I need. And this little lighter, loaded with fuel, and that O-ring, seized up good and tight, is ridden in my pack now for pushing on 2 years, and I've only filled it 1 time. So it does hold fuel. It doesn't dry out. Now that I've said that, I'm going to go refuel it after this video and put it back in, and I'll know that it's ready to go. Okay? Inside the kit, I have a 4-way scraper that I got from Jonathan Barnes. This has 4 90-degree edges for doing ferro rods and etc. With this, when I scrape, I get a big shower of sparks. I got a big fistful of tinder. I've got another one of those lighters. This one's been wrapped up with jute. It's got my little loop on the bottom with paracord, bank line, duct tape, and then the trigger is wedged to the top to keep it from being depressed. This was a brand new one I put in last year. Now it will rotate up to the Exotec carrier, and this one, which has not been used at all, will become the new one in it. I have a nice big handful of bird nest ready to go. All kinds of different tinders. There's red cedar bark in here. There's the down of a thistle in here. There is other types of grasses and barks and tulip poplar bark and everything in here. I'm going to get an ignition out of that. Another fire straw. Across the bottom, a nice big hunk of good fat lighter. This will be checked periodically and make sure it has not dried out. This one seems to be just fine. And I will take back of my saw right quick. Back of my knife, excuse me. Shave down to make sure it's still got good wet. Oh yeah, still got a lot of sap in it, so it's ready to go. I can shave this and make long splinters out of this piece and easily get what I need for a fire. I have one of those fire pucks, processed. So all I gotta do, wax coated, crack, 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 and set it afire. Another hunk of fat lighter. And that's about it for this. And, of course, the burning lens that goes in the top. I had it out of it. But this is a burning lens I've got from a good friend and have not had a chance to talk a lot about yet. But that is just a good burning lens to be able to build fires with. So, I have two forms of ignition right here. I have the big supply of dry tinder. I have multiple ways to ignite and generate sparks, and I have a big spark device that will be used on ferro rods. Now on my Blackbird knife, I have a big half-inch thick fire rod. On my old original prototype, there's a big half-inch fire rod. So I'm carrying redundant amounts of fire rods and redundant amount of lighters. Now I put everything back in and I packed my tinder in there. The thing that goes on top is that Exotec lighter, so I can get it. It's going to go crossways here to the front top right here. I'm going to push that stuff down tight, and I'm going to press it down tight to seal it. I'm going to take the flat, I'm going to fold it over so that the seam is flat up to the edge, and then pinching it tight, I start rolling. I get right here, I kind of push down, roll some more. Push down, roll some more until it's nice and blood tight. You take one tie and you go uphill, pulling it tight. Come downhill, opposite direction, pull tight. And then, right here, I wrap it around twice and pull it. And trust me, it doesn't want to slide on too. That leather will bite. And there is my fire kit ready to go. And there is all that fine downy tinder left over. That is my complete fire kit loadout. That's what I carry when I go. Yes, it is redundant. Yes, it is overdone. Yes, that's way too much. And I have many times gone on camping trips with people, and they are the same ones that have complained to me that I carry too much stuff like that, and then they're the one that can't start the fire, and they want me to start the fire because I've got all the gear. Fire is the #1 you need. You need to practice this ahead of time. If you're new to bushcraft and you're asking, Blackie, what skills should I practice? Setting up a tarp, setting up a camp, big ones. Setting up and creating fire and cooking. But fire. Once you have a solid grasp of how to build a fire in all kinds of conditions, you're way ahead of a lot of people. I'll see so many times people that start out to build a fire, they bring out their kit, they bring out their bird nest, foosh, and they set the bird nest on fire. And they haven't got their fire lay set up, so now they're running around like a bumblebee trying to find sticks to throw on it. Oh, here's one, here's one, here's one. Meanwhile, your big old wad of bird's nest just consumes and it goes out, and you've managed to get maybe 6 little bitty sticks on it. Ignition is the very last step. The fire should be completely built and done before I ever pull out my ignition source. And that's what I have to stress to so many people, is ignition is the end, not the beginning. So to my subscriber, follower in Sweden, I hope this answers your question on what all does Blackie carry in a fire kit, because you're building yours. I hope this wasn't too horribly overdone for you, but it makes a difference, and I have spent too many times without a fire because I relied on matches or a lighter or something that didn't pan out. And so I learned to come prepared, be prepared, have all my stuff ready to go and set up so that when the fire time was there, I was going to guarantee get a fire. I have multiple forms of ignition. If I lost my haversack, I've got on me the ability to make fire. At least one, sometimes two. If we're going to be hiking into the deep woods, that Exotec Lighter in that orange cover, that's going to be in my pocket. That's going to be hanging around my neck. That'll be the lighter I carry on my body, in addition to the ferro rod and striker I'm carrying on my key ring. That's my one step up insurance. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And do me a favor and hit that like, share, and subscribe button before you leave. Till next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.